Hello, GZs. Welcome to a quick preview of the Brighton game. I'm here with HG, who every week does his predicted lineup. So we're just going to bash through it today, say who we're going to think is going to face Brighton in this Premier League match. After the midweek debacle with lots of changes, I imagine we'll see many more today. But what are you predicting, HG? Let's start from the back.
From the back, well, obviously Hugo in goal. I want to see the fullbacks to be both the Sergio boys. So Reggie on left and Aurier at right back.
Yep.
That would be the perfect situation for me. And then centre half is interesting because, like, I know that obviously Dyer missed midweek, but I'm a bit nervous about Brighton's, strength at set pieces with 6'7" Burn and 6'3" Webster. So I actually went for Roden next to Toby
Wow.
at centre half.
That's an interesting debut to make. But also, let's just go back. So you'd pick Aurier even after he didn't have a particularly great game midweek, and normally we do rotate the fullbacks.
Yeah, I would. I think that, the way that Brighton play, they play, obviously a 3-4-2-1. And so the width that they have from Lamptey and Solly March, I'd like to see us double up in that area.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm not sure Doherty really works as a right back. I quite like the idea of using him in in Jose's kind of weird three centre back system where one fullback pushes on. But I think that, Aurier and I would have Lucas, but Aurier and Lucas working down the right hand side against Solly March would be better. I wouldn't want Aurier to start high up the pitch. I'd want him to play as a fullback first and foremost. But I think that he would suit it well.
Yeah, I guess that. I mean, we've seen him maybe be a bit more defensively solid recently. So that's an interesting shout. I don't think a lot of people would agree with you, just because whenever Rory has a bad game, most people think he should never play again. But maybe he's given a chance to redeem himself. So, the Brighton midfield, they've got Barry White in midfield, haven't they? Ben White, sorry, Ben White. Whenever I see B White, my brain just instantly goes to it. Exactly.
That's got to be his entrance music. If football players had entrance music, that would be Ben White's for sure.
Yeah. So who do you think we should see in the midfield? Do you think Sissoko will come back in?
Do I think he will? Yes. Do I want him to? No.
Okay.
I would. I've said this for a few weeks now, but I'd like to see the three that I think everyone would like to see. So I want to see Højbjerg and Ndombele and Lo Celso as the three that are in central midfield. Like, Sissoko's obviously played well and done a job for us.
Yep.
And we've won, every away game this season in the league. So it's not a bad choice to have him. But I don't, if Brighton are only playing two in there, and the two is going to be, a defensive midfielder probably in Ben White, who's sometimes a centre back,
yep.
and Bissouma, don't really know if we need. Let's say another defensive central midfielder. I'd like to see Ndombele and Lo Celso given a chance to be the 2/8s.
Yeah, okay. What about the front line? I can't imagine we'll see Bale, but we've still got plenty of options there. It's difficult after midweek because he obviously wasn't impressed with either Dele or Bergwijn. Bale doesn't look back to fitness. So, we're obviously definitely going to see Son back, but then who else would you have?
And that's just it. Like, so obviously we all know that Son and Kane are going to be two of them, and that's probably why Lucas is the third option. Like, I've said it plenty of times, Lucas, when he hugs the touchline, is a better player. I don't want him moving inside. And so, like, Bergwijn, I guess, has a chance of starting. But like you, I don't think Bale is anywhere near match fit.
No.
I'm still so disappointed at what I've seen from him because I understand he might not be able to run as much as maybe he could do at his best, but it just looks so lethargic. Everything... It's like he feels as if he's playing a game that's beneath him and he doesn't need to try. And I don't want that. So I love Bale and I think he might be useful for him to, shoot from distance against a Brighton side that doesn't like giving up shots. But, I'd have Lucas down the right-hand side for me.
Okay. And then Ndombele, I guess, back in that position behind Kane?
No, I'd probably have Lo Celso as the one closest to Kane.
Okay.
Like, I think if you want to play through the lines, and Brighton will allow us to have the ball on the ground, they'll allow us to play football. If Højbjerg and Ndombele are the two that are a bit deeper, with Lo Celso a bit further forward, I think Lo Celso, both he and Ndombele can pick a pass. But I just like the idea of, you could even play the three in a line really and just ask Højbjerg to sit with Ndombele on the left of the three and Lo Celso on the right. That might work as well. But if you ask me which person I'd want to be closer to Kane, then the answer would be Lo Celso.
Right, interesting. I mean, it might be a case of those two are sort of generally a little bit further forward with Højbjerg sitting back, isn't it? And I suppose if Dombele's sitting a bit interesting, because Dombele has been played in that position more, but then Lo Celso's not been in the squad, so it might have just been a case of putting players where they're sort of best suited from what we've got. But okay, interesting. And then
Yeah,
you're
well, I
gonna
mean, we've seen from previous games that Mourinho likes to have at least one of the two starting, right? I mean, they haven't played together, but I don't know. Like Brighton, their midfield is. I mean, they do have the two. Let's say the two that play behind Morpay both tend to be ones that can drop back into midfield. I know the Lana's played there a couple of times recently, and Trossard is also more of a winger, but still capable of joining that group. And I know that when we played Chelsea at home last season, that the players like Mason Mount and I think it was Willian at the time, they both dropped back into midfield to outnumber the three that we had. So there's a chance that Brighton could do that, but I just think that like because both Dombele and Lo Celso are capable of a bit of everything. Like you don't mind if they're the two that are getting the ball deep from the centre backs. You don't mind if they're closer to Kane because both of them are able to find the pass for the right person. We've seen it already in their Spurs careers. So yeah, it's a question of we're at home, we want to attack, and so I'd like to see those players that offer a bit more going forward as the eights rather than Sissoko, because as good as he is, he's definitely wants to win away games, not for home games, and we
yeah.
haven't won at home so far this season. It's going to be a big call.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. What do you think the key battles are? I mean, you've mentioned Lamptey earlier, and playing that three at the back. If Son's sort of smart with his runs and stuff like that, he could kind of get in between Lamptey and who's it? They play Webster, I think, in that position. And I don't
Exactly,
think,
Webster or maybe Feltman. But yeah, no, I agree. Like that's where the spaces are going to be. We want to push their wing backs back, so they have to defend. We don't want Lamptey and March going forward. And so yeah, I'd like to see Son attacking that space again. Lucas over that side, just stretch the play a little bit because in a perfect world you'd want to see Lucas running at Dan Burn. Like you'd like to think that he's 5'8" against 6'7", that
yeah,
Lucas will have the ability even over 5 yards to get around him. So
mm,
yeah, I don't know. It's if you give up the control in the center of the pitch, which Mourinho seems to love, right? He does want to control things down the middle. That if we give that up to try and attack down the wings,
mm,
it's more of a risk reward situation. But we're at home. Like I don't want us to play like we did at Burnley, where it was a case of we're going to defend and hope that we get the all important first goal.
yeah.
I'd like to see us to try and take Brighton on because Brighton won't sit back. They won't play deep. They'll want to attack us at the chances they get. So we just need to use the spaces wisely.
Yeah. It's been a bit unfortunate this weekend that some of the results haven't really gone in our favour, have they? Seb was saying that we could be top of the league by Sunday night, but that's obviously not going to happen now. But we've got some games coming up. Villa have got a tough game pretty much now as we speak, and then Arsenal against Man United. So, winning this game is a real opportunity to get ourselves into that top four and then kick on from there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and like we realise that we're going to be playing Sundays for a lot of the season, right? So um, both Liverpool and Man City, obviously, and Chelsea, they won yesterday games that we'd all expect them to win.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be the only time this season where we're going to be playing, where we're going to need to win just to stay on level terms.
Yeah.
And so we need to get used to it. Like we've heard players talk before about how Sunday games add an extra level of pressure. I don't really believe that, but I guess today is a prime example. Brighton, they don't allow teams to have lots of shots.
Yeah.
So if we can come away with 3 points today, no matter how we do it, that's all we can really ask for. But it's yeah, I mean, United, Arsenal. I think both of us think that United will win.
Mm.
Villa could easily drop. I don't think anyone expects them to keep the form that they've had, despite having made some decent signings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like if we're worried about the teams around us, I mean, if you win, you don't have to worry so much. We just need to get the 3 points.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the point is, having watched both Man City and Liverpool yesterday, they don't look anywhere near what they were when they've been great, title challenging teams in the last two seasons. They both look like they've got frailties. And I think if we just keep up the pressure, we need to just stay up there with them, and then anything can happen this season. I think we need to have that attitude. So what's your prediction then, HG? What are you going for today?
Even though it's a home game, I think we might win. So I will go. I mean, it's tough to see Spurs keeping a clean sheet, but we have done it a couple of times recently. So I think we'll win, but it may be 1 or 2 nil. Let's say 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, what was it your point about the XG with Brighton? Because they're good at stopping chances against them, but are they
Yeah,
particularly good at sort of creating opportunities as well?
I mean they're okay. Like when we looked at the XG during the week about the first, most teams' first 6 games,
Mm.
and Brighton have conceded quite a number of penalties.
Mm.
But the goals that they've conceded have come from a very low number of shots, which either means that the chances they concede are extremely high value chances where you think the goal should be scored, or their goalkeeper is just not very good and is letting low chances in.
Yeah, yeah.
If you were to ask me, I think it would probably be maybe a mix of both, because I seem to remember Brighton have made a few bad mistakes in bad areas in other games, and other teams have taken advantage.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but Brighton, as a rule, they don't allow many chances.
Mm.
They're very good at playing 3 centre halves. I guess it's very easy to sit deep and to play a bit of a low block. And it's interesting because they don't. Yet with Basuma and Ben White ahead of them, it can almost be like a back five,
Yeah, very
or a very, very tall, very mobile. And so the chances that other teams are creating are more likely to be pot shots. The only way that you might get a high level chance against them is if they make a mistake. So it's not going to be easy. Brighton, I think, are a pretty solid unit. They don't get great results, but they do make it very difficult for their opponents.
Yeah.
So I think we both saw the Brighton game against Man United, where Brighton should have won that, 4 or 5-1 like we did.
Mm.
They hit the woodwork a number of times, and obviously the past the final whistle penalty that Man United got to win that game seemed a super miscarriage. So it's not going to be easy. You can't look at someone's position in the table and think that that's where they are always going to be, or the level of where they are. They've played some difficult home games, Brighton. I think they've played Man United, Chelsea, obviously us now. So yeah, you have to look at how the team is playing rather than the results that they've got. And Brighton certainly defensively have been pretty good.
Yeah, agreed. It's going to be an interesting game. And yeah, obviously, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory. Don't want to see us concede today. I'm going to be confident. Don't think Brighton have got enough to challenge us. And yeah, I think we're going to see Son and maybe Kane get some more goals for my fancy.
I suppose the good thing of playing last on Sunday is that even if we lose, it doesn't ruin the whole day. So we can, like, if we were first up and lost, that if we were first up and lost, that Arsenal would go to United and win, because that would just compound everything. But like if Arsenal, like if the United Arsenal game's a draw, we might start thinking, okay, it doesn't matter so much, but yeah, we just need 3 points. And as you said, like, it doesn't really matter how we get them. Like at the start of the season, when you've got so many games, we didn't play well to beat Burnley, but we beat Burnley, and that is really all that matters.
And a bounce back from midweek, I think that's the important thing, because it was so lethargic. I just want to see a good performance, and even if it's a 1-0 today, as long as we look good, I think that's all a lot of Spurs fans will care about. Right, well, listen out for the pod, which we'll be recording after the game tonight. We're getting no sleep, so Monday morning's fun as always. So, yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.